Hey guys, I just got back from Cars 3. I'm super sleepy because it is 2:18 in the morning. I went to work today and probably on very little sleep as usual. And then I had a 9:55 showing of Cars 3, and that was 9:55 p.m. And that ended at 11:45. And then I went to Walmart really quickly because I don't go often, and there's like a big one fairly close to the Drafthouse that I went to see the movie. So I went there to look for a few things. I'll talk about that later. I also bought some chocolate milk there because I needed some kind of desserty kind of thing after that movie, because I had pizza and it was very salty, and so I drank most of it, but I left a fair amount and forgot the bottle in the car, and I want to go back and get the rest of it, but I'm kind of scared of black-eyed kids because of YouTube. It's their fault. It's your fault, YouTube. I'm terrified of black-eyed kids right now. Like if I ran into them during the day, I wouldn't mind it, but it's like really dark outside. But maybe I'll brave it after this video. Anyway, I saw Cars 3. I went to the Lakeline Drafthouse, one of the two closest ones to me. That one's not super close, but compared to like the south side ones, yeah. Yeah, that's the one where there's a server that I have a huge crush on. She was there today, and for the first time I saw her in like these like really short shorts, and I was just like, oh my god, she's so gorgeous. She's really gorgeous. I forget her name. I knew her name for a while because they always put it on the receipts. And one time I did get her as my server, but usually she's not my server. I just see her. She's probably married or something. Not that she's like way younger than me, but still, you know, when somebody like works in the same job for more than like a year and they're that young, it's usually because they're married or they got kids or something. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, she was there. But the movie, I saw Cars 3. Let's see, before I get to that, there were trailers. I don't usually talk about all the trailers, but I'm going to talk about a couple. For one thing, there was the Homecoming, Spider-Man Homecoming trailer, which that movie looks awesome. I can't wait for that. And there were probably other trailers. There was a Despicable Me 3, which looks good, but I haven't seen the second one. There might have been some other trailers, but the only other one that I remember was Ferdinand the Bull. There is an animated film about Ferdinand coming from Blue Sky. I know Blue Sky did Peanuts, and I really liked Peanuts. For the most part, I really liked that one a lot. I don't recall what else Blue Sky has done. I'm not sure I've seen all of their stuff. I probably haven't. But I'm a little upset that there's a Ferdinand the Bull movie coming out, because it's like, I thought Disney had that character, you know, and because they made a short back in like the 40s of Ferdinand the Bull, and it's a classic in my opinion. And so I hate to see this character that I consider a Disney character. I know he's from a book. It's not like... but so is Pinocchio, you know? And everybody does. There's a lot of versions of Pinocchio, but I guess it's sad because probably a lot of people don't remember the Disney version. And the Disney version was such a classic. It's just a short, animated short, but very good. But I don't remember. Maybe it was part of one of the package films. I don't remember if it was in Melody Time or Make Mine Music, or I don't think it would fit in those. It wasn't really a song one. But anyway, he looks the same in this new one as the Disney version, because the book had pretty iconic illustrations. So it's weird. It's weird to see Ferdinand looking just like he did in the Disney cartoon, but it's not Disney. I don't know. And so I guess now we're never going to see any more, not that we probably would have, but Disney Ferdinand merchandise or anything like that. Thought maybe we'd get an ornament eventually or something from that series I collect. But anyway, so whatever. It does look like it might be a good movie. But anyway, so then there was a short cartoon. The short cartoon was called Lou, I think? And it was about a lost and found box on a playground at what looked like an elementary school. Yeah, I guess it was an elementary school. And it was sort of like, it was alive. And it was sort of making this one kid pass out, the items that the kids had lost. It was cute. It was good. It was very, what we get from Pixar with these kind of shorts. They're good. Sometimes they're a little bit, you like some and more than others, because they're getting to that point to where they're, I don't know, there's something lackluster about the idea, I guess. It was charming, but at the same time, it's like, maybe I'm tired of them being so charming. I don't know. It was still good, but I mean, it's not like Lava. I thought Lava was great. I went to see Lava with someone who it did not do anything for her. I should have gotten a clue from that, but I thought Lava was awesome. I loved it. I probably cried when I saw Lava both times I saw it in theaters. Might have seen it 3 times, I don't remember. But anyway, this one was good, but it's just sort of like, I had the feeling like, yeah, this is standard. It wasn't surprising me in any way or anything, or overly charming me like Lava. But anyway, it was good. And then the movie, Cars 3. Now, I went into Cars 3. Let me say this. I like the Cars characters, and I think they're cute and all that. I'm a huge fan of Herbie the Love Bug. I'm a huge fan, and I'm not a car guy. I'm really not a car guy. But I'm a huge fan of Herbie the Love Bug. That's my, dream, is to own a Herbie the Love Bug. Replica, like a real one. A lot of people do. But there's Susie the Little Blue Coupe, which is an old Disney short cartoon, and I like this stuff, but this idea of this whole universe, just cars, no people, is weird and doesn't make any sense. And I would always bring up, why do they have car doors? What are the doors for? There's no people. And then I was noticing this time I was noticing a lot of the cars don't seem to have doors. If you look, you don't see the line, but some of them did. I kept watching, and I did see the doors on some. But I don't think Lightning McQueen, I don't think, does have doors. But it's like, why do you have doors? That doesn't make sense. Why do you have back windows? Why do you have windows at all? It's weird. And I mean, I understand. You're not supposed to go that deep into it, but there are many other questions like that when you watch these films. If you get into the really thinking about it, it's like, that doesn't make sense. There's so many questions with this Cars universe, and there's that whole Pixar theory, just a fan thing where they say what they put all the Pixar movies into one timeline, but even that doesn't make sense, because supposedly the Cars took over after or during the events of WALL-E. In WALL-E, the people have left Earth because they can't breathe anymore on Earth or whatever. So there's no life on Earth. And supposedly the Cars eventually took over, and then they eventually died out before the people in WALL-E returned to Earth. I don't know. There are some things about that. I mean, why does the world look so beautiful when the cars are living in it? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't look like it does in Wall-E, all ravaged. But maybe after years and years of the car fumes and everything, I don't know. I thought the people left it like that, all trashed, and then it doesn't make any sense. Nah, that doesn't pan out. The only way it would work out is if these cars took over like way after the humans actually came back and died out. But then those humans, I don't think were going to be driving cars anymore. They were all into environmentalism. Anyway, I'm not even getting into the plot of the movie. The movie, Cars 3, was about Lightning McQueen, the main race car. Let me see, I've got a Lightning McQueen over here. I've got a bunch of them. I've got a big one too, but he's still in the box back there. But yeah, okay, so you know Lightning McQueen. He was the race car in the first film. The second film became more about his best friend, who is Tow Mater over here. But in this film, Tow Mater isn't in it that much. I guess they realized this guy is supposed to be the focus of these films. So, well, he doesn't have to be. They're called cars. They're not called... Well, I guess they're not called trucks. But anyway, he is getting older, and he's not winning races anymore. And they sort of want him to stop racing, and all these younger race cars are up and comers, and they're like making fun of him for being old. And so it's a comeback movie. It's about him trying to come back. You know, it's one of those athlete trying to come back kind of movies, and it's good. It's a good one. I went into this film. I'm gonna put lightning up here. I went into this film sort of thinking it was just gonna be another cash in or something. Cars 2 initially, I felt that way. I did not like Cars 2 initially, but I have to admit that over time, it grew on me. It's actually an entertaining movie. These movies are really beautiful to look at. They're beautifully done. They're unquestionably, beautifully done. And but they're clever too, and they're funny. Even though there's a lot of issues, there's also a lot of clever stuff done with the idea. And I mean, is this the Pixar series that I wish had hit like 3 movies? No, I wish there were 3 Incredibles movies. That's what I wish. But there's 3 Cars movies. That's how it is. We've always wondered, like, why didn't Incredibles get this first sequel out of all the Pixar movies? And they haven't had a sequel yet. They're supposed to be making one, but it took forever. And I don't know. I haven't seen anything yet. But it's supposed to be in the works. But anyway, Cars was always, to me, kind of like the least of the Pixar films. That was until Good Dinosaur came out, which was actually... Rewatch Good Dinosaur. It's a better movie than you initially think. Most movies, you should give them 2 viewings, because sometimes you start appreciating things. It's actually... Good Dinosaur actually isn't that bad. It's well, I mean, it's a good movie. It's just got a few issues, maybe more than a few, but overall, it's still a good movie. Pixar movies are good. They're, the worst of them are good. They're still good, and for me, Cars was pretty low on the list, but yeah, they're not bad movies. They have a lot to like. They have a lot to love in them, actually. But then there's also a little bit of the whole NASCAR thing. It's a little bit rednecky for me, for my tastes. I'm just not into that kind of stuff. But then I'm not a sports guy in general. I don't know if you call NASCAR sports, but anyway, it's kind of like, if it's not sports, it's like sports equivalent. I'm not really into that kind of stuff. I'm into movies. I'm into cartoons. But it's they did it with Herbie, and I still like that Herbie movie, even though it was NASCAR and all that. But yeah, you know, these characters are interesting, and they're fun, and they're funny, and this is like the first one much more than the second one was. This one gets back to the whole NASCAR thing. It's a little less rednecky than the first one, but it's still you know, it has a bit of that feeling to it. But through the course of the film, Lightning McQueen, you know, is trying to make his comeback, so he gets with a trainer who is supposed to be teaching him to be like the new young people, the way that they train, which is with like technology and like virtual reality and stuff. And it's just not working for him, so he wants to go out and train the old-fashioned way. He wants to train on the beach. He wants to train, you know, out in the country. And this is something that this trainer car, Cruz, has no idea how to do. And at the same time, this car is a car that had dreams of being a racer herself. So she kind of becomes the one who's learning also, you know, from Lightning. And I don't want to give away too much, but there's a lot of touching stuff that has to do with the old car that trained Lightning, which is the Hudson Hornet, and it's got to do with, you know, Lightning sort of taking over with becoming the teacher rather than, you know, the star anymore. You know, it's that transition thing, and it was really good. It was really touching. It was really well done. There was one hang up for me, and that was that in the climax, when he and this is a spoiler, you know, I mean, I've done some soft spoilers already, but here's the big spoiler, and just skip ahead a minute or two. Okay, in the climax during the big race, Lightning realizes that he, you know, this is his chance to give her a chance, because she has you know, passed up on her one chance to become a racer, because of everything that, you know, all the intimidation out there. And so he gives her a chance, and so he backs out of the race and lets her take over for him. And that's the thing that I just don't get, how that is legal. And they say it is in the movie, but this is some kind of weird rule, because I think in any other race that wouldn't fly. I don't think you can just change to another car all of a sudden in like real life, but that's what they do in the movie. But anyway, it's regardless of that, it's still a very, very sweet and touching movie. And you know, I've heard people say this, you know, this movie's for like babies or something. You know what? The theater, the adults were hard laughing, man. They were laughing hard at the jokes. And I mean, not all of them are winners. Some of them are baby jokes. It was a story that I don't even know if kids would have been too involved in this story. And it's not like the most original story in the world. To be honest with you, only a few Pixar movies are really original story-wise. A lot of them are taking stories that have been done already, you know. I mean, look at A Bug's Life, which is The Three Amigos, 100%. When I love A Bug's Life, you know. And everybody knows that the first Cars movie is Doc Hollywood, and you know, there's a lot of, I mean, you can relate a lot of the Pixar stuff that way. But anyway, but this was still a great movie. If you know, if you don't have issues with the Cars movies, if you have issues with the Cars movies, this is another Cars movie. I've grown to like them more than I used to, and now that they have Cars Land out there, I'm sure they've got more fans than ever. And yet, opening night and the theater was not full. They have the ground level seats, and then they have the you know, auditorium type seats, and the ground level seats were mostly empty, which was weird. I mean, I know it was a very late showing, and you know, it was mostly people with their kids, and it was kind of a late showing for that. But then it's Friday night, so not really. I mean, I guess it's still late. I mean, I guess people put their kids to bed. I don't know. in my house, you went to bed when you felt like it, and usually it was 3 in the morning, if not dawn. My natural state, if I don't have somewhere to be, I will usually stay up till dawn. That's just the way I naturally am. I can't do it now because I have a job and I have to wake up at 6 in the morning. But if left up to my own devices, yeah, that's what I do. I stay up till dawn, and I sleep till 2 or 3 afternoon. But anyway, so yeah, the people that were there were mostly with their kids, and it was not full by any means. But everybody was having a great time that was watching. Everybody was really enjoying it. I think, though, that it's kind of sad. It sort of shows you how people feel about the Cars movies, even though they seem to love Cars Land and Disneyland. Because Pixar movies are usually great for adults too. And I mean, you will see adults just going by themselves to Pixar movies. I mean, as couples, or I mean, without kids. You know, you don't have to have kids to go to. Well, you don't have to have kids to go to any animated movie, but some of them are obviously targeted to little kids. Some of them, and then some of them. You know, this is just America. Sadly, in America, a majority of the people think that animation is for kids, but Pixar had gotten past that, I think, because they had such high quality films. People were rushing out to the Pixar movies, and that's kind of changed. It's changed with the Cars movies. It's changed with The Good Dinosaur. You know, they've lowered the quality of their brand, which is funny because that's something that's brought up in this movie. But they've lowered their quality of their brand with stuff like the Planes films, which are cute, but for kids, you know, for the most part. They're watchable. I haven't watched the second one, but I've got the first one. I've seen that one. And it's you know, it's watchable, but it's direct to video kind of stuff. And yet it was released in theaters, which it's funny when John Lasseter took over and was like, I'm putting a stop to this direct to video crap, and then he like starts making his own direct to video stuff. It's weird and hypocritical and everything. And don't get me wrong, I like John Lasseter, but you know, he's not a saint. I mean, he's not flawless. But I enjoyed this movie. I'm not going to put down this movie. I've seen critics that I like putting down movies like this and this movie. I watched one review of this movie already, and it was very hateful towards it from one of the critics that I like. And this, and I noticed this word being brought up so much, and I feel like the definition of this word has been changed by the people using it, but the word they're bringing up so much is cynical. And I think what they mean is crass, you know. They're trying to say that these movies are just being made for the buck. You know, that was never the definition of the word cynical to me, but it's being like used like crazy now by everybody on the internet. It's just this idea that I guess if they're using it in the sense that they're saying, like, you know, give the people, you know, crappy stuff and they'll still pay for it, and I guess you could call it, you know, you could use the word cynical in that case, that sort of cynical thinking. But in general, the funny thing about it is these critics, especially now, I mean, so many of these critics are cynical. That's like the thing now with web critics. With most of them, they are very cynical, because that's what people want to see. People want to see you getting upset about things, and that doesn't mean that they hate every little thing. But it seems like it usually has to be a love-hate thing. It's like if it's not like groundbreaking for them, then they usually hate it. If it's not, you know, 99% perfect, and that's just really frustrating to me. I like to try to find the good things, something to enjoy in every movie I watch. I feel like most movies I can find things to enjoy in them. Not every movie, but most. And I mean, I'll still talk about the stuff I didn't like, you know, the stuff that's not great in it. This movie, for the most part, was really good. I really liked it. You know, I do have an issue with the whole Cars universe, but and it's I have a good imagination for the most part. It's just kind of weird. It doesn't make a lot of sense, and everything doesn't have to make sense. I love Alice in Wonderland. It's just, you know, so much of it tries to make sense, and yet there are all these questions it brings up. But I enjoy it. It's got, you know, I've come to enjoy it for the cool stuff, for the really clever moments. And there's some really funny jokes and stuff here. There's a part where Mater sings a song, his version, his like rewritten version of the old Humphrey Hop from the old In the Bag cartoon with Humphrey Bear. Lately I've been really into Humphrey Bear. We're like saving up for a trip to stay at Fort Wilderness. So for Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween and Halloween Horror Nights, just a really quick trip. We usually do that for Halloween the past couple of years, and I've been like really excited because I'm finally gonna get that Humphrey the Bear totem pole statue I've been wanting. I never had an excuse to get it because I think it says Fort Wilderness on the back, and or Wilderness Lodge. We're gonna stay like one night at Wilderness Lodge and the rest of the time in a cabin at Fort Wilderness, but. But yeah, I love Humphrey the Bear, and there's like so little merchandise of him, but he's kind of one of the mascots of Fort Wilderness or Wilderness Lodge. So I'm excited, but it was really cool to hear Tom Mater singing that, or just Mater if you just want to call him Mater. It was cool to hear him singing that little song in a Cars version, yeah, but. Anyway, you know, I had a lot of fun in this movie. I wish I could remember. I wish I read or knew who it was who did the voice of Cruz. I don't know who that was. I need to look that up. I did notice Nathan Fillion was one of the major new characters. I was listening to the voice and I was like, I know that voice. Who is that? I can't pinpoint it. Just because I'm not like one of these people who watches like Firefly every day. I do have the DVD, the Blu-rays, but I don't watch it every single day. But and I don't watch Castle, although I have seen several episodes. The girl who plays the daughter on that show is just a goddess. But anyway, so I enjoyed the movie. And afterwards, and if you go see it, stick to the end. There's a little clip at the end with Mater doing another little song in his little workshop or wherever he was. But it's a fun movie. It's and what I was saying, because I forgot what I was saying, was about, you know, these critics were calling this movie cynical. One in particular, who I like in general. I like his shows that he does. But they kept talking about how this is a cynical movie and all that, and it's like, I don't know, I just feel like when I went to see it, I had already been kind of like, because I saw that review right before I went in, and it kind of made me cynical. The review made me cynical about the movie that I hadn't watched yet. I mean, it's just this kind of like, I don't know, I don't think that's any good. I don't like going in like tainted, and I gotta stop watching reviews before I see a movie, but I get curious to see what, you know, what people are thinking of it, what they're saying about it. I need to just not do that till after I make my review, really. But yeah, I don't know, that cynicism that they're blaming on the movies, I don't know. I think it's people who just, I mean, sometimes just have fun. Just enjoy it. It's just funny. It's just, but you know, sometimes it's not for you, and I get that. But some movies are not for me, and that doesn't really always make them bad movies. This movie's not gonna be for everybody. That's for sure. There are some people that are not my kind of people, but there's a lot of them, and I encounter them regularly. I have close relatives like this, who animated films are not for them. And that just blows me away, honestly. Okay, I have to say, if that's your attitude, animated films, that's just a medium, you know? And that's just like a prejudice against a medium. It's not, you know, you have this idea of what animated films are, or you have, I don't know. no imagination to watch something that is not live action. For a lot of people, that's just the issue. It's not live action, so it's not real. So it's not live action movies you watch are not real. Yeah, I know most of these people don't watch documentaries, so what your hang-up is about the fact that it's drawings or computerized, I don't get it. But anyway, that's the kind of person I'm not. I don't like to be around. Let's just put it that way. But anyway, I went to Walmart. There were several different things I was checking on. They didn't have any of it. I was kind of hoping to find those new Guardians of the Galaxy figures that have the Build-A-Figure Mantis, but nope. Haven't found any of those yet. I'm just going to have to start ordering stuff on Amazon. But I did find something I was looking for. After seeing the movie, I wanted a couple of new Cars figures. I call them figures, you know, toy cars, die-cast. I really wanted a Cruise, and they did have one. They have several, but they're all the same. They're all this one. They didn't have the one that's just plain yellow. They didn't have the... in fact, this one is a huge spoiler. This is the end of the movie. This is the Dynacos Cruise. And, you know, it's a Cruise. I kind of wanted just like the plain one where she's trying to train Lightning. Or even where she's racing and she's got like the spray painted number on her side. But this is pretty cool. This is the Dynaco Cruise from the very end of the movie. And now, actually, in the end of the movie, Lightning McQueen gets a new paint job, and they don't have that one as, you know, an available toy yet. They actually had at least 3 different looks for Lightning in this movie. What they had was the most basic one, which is another very similar to the original Lightning, but instead of just the lightning bolt on his side, it actually turns into flames. You can see that there, I think. So this is definitely a Cars 3 Lightning from like 3 different options, or 4. I don't know. There's like 3 or 4 different... There's a few different versions of Lightning in this movie. I mean, you know, some people, cynical people, who say that these movies are just to sell toys. I mean, you know, to a certain degree, probably. But anyway, they're still fun. They're still pretty good movies. So, before the movie, the Drafthouse, you know, always shows clips off of YouTube and stuff. They showed, I was going to talk about this in the beginning, but I forgot. They showed a lot of classic toy die-cast car commercials, which was pretty cool. I actually used to collect die-cast cars when I was super little, and like I said, I'm not really a car guy, but die-cast cars were still fun when you're a little kid because they roll, and they're little cars, and you do stunts with them. And also, they were cheap. They were always cheap to collect. In fact, these are some of the cheapest, like, you know, high-quality toys you can get. These are like, I don't know, $2.99 or $3.99. Or something like that. You know, they're under $4 each one, and that's pretty cool. And that's the way it was when I was a kid. You could get a Hot Wheels car for $1. So that's why, as a little kid, I loved them. And I also, oh, by the way, I also picked this up at Speed Racer Complete Series, which I didn't even realize what I was doing there. But this is also car racing material. I wasn't even like making the connection there. I was just like, oh, that's pretty cool. I saw this at Best Buy. It was like on sale this week, and it's like $22.99 or something, but it's like $19.99 at Walmart. So go to Walmart. It's the same thing. And this is the Blu-ray, and it's the Complete Series, episodes 1 through 52, the Complete Series. But this is the English language version. It doesn't have the Japanese. It says it has the Japanese language on it, but a lot of people have already posted on Amazon.com that that's a misprint, and it actually does not have the Japanese language. It's just the English language version, because when they released it in America, it's like an edited version of the original show. So this is the American version, that if you ever used to watch it on TV, this is what you saw. But it's still pretty cool. I don't know if we'll ever get the like original Japanese version. But yeah, I'm glad to finally have this. I never really watched this show. Actually, it used to be on, and I was like, this looks really terrible. But I still always had an appreciation for Trixie, especially when they made the live-action movie, which was really good and underrated. I mean, I thought that movie was amazing. And Christina Ricci playing Trixie, that was pretty awesome. She was always one of my big crushes, one of my biggest crushes, actually. So that was cool. So I do like that movie. I have it on Blu-ray. It was one of my first Blu-rays. But anyway, yeah, so picked up that stuff. And, oh, I also picked up, make sure I remember their names. My low battery light is on there. I also picked up Luigi and Guido, which they have a pretty good role in this film. Of course, they're Lightning's pit guys, you know. And they're some of the funnier characters from the original film, and so I've been kind of wanting them for a while. I don't really have I don't have like a huge collection of the Cars toys. I actually just barely started collecting them because I wanted a larger Lightning McQueen, and that's all I wanted. I was like, if I can just get a die-cast Lightning McQueen that's like this big, I don't want to mess with getting all those other little cars. But then they came out with, let me reach over, I've shown these before, but they came out with like 3 different ones of these sort of like Lolita type little schoolgirl cars, which I love, like Lolita schoolgirl type characters, you know. These like Japanese schoolgirl types, and like, yeah, I like that. I mean, they're like kawaii girls. I love kawaii girls. I love cute girls who wear, you know, schoolgirl uniforms and anime style. I love that stuff. So yeah, I had to get these, like this like trio. It's like a trio of 3 different cars, which I've shown before. I've posted pictures of them on Instagram and everything. One of them has like a ladybug style to her, and the other one is like a sort of a goth Lolita. And they're really cute, and I had to pick those up. So then I had to finally get a Lightning McQueen, and then I ended up getting a couple of other different Lightning McQueens, and I ended up getting Mater and Sally. But I don't have like the rest of the town folk from Radiator Springs. I just have those, and yeah, that's all I have. And I have a Holly Shiftwell and her boss, whose name I forget, but it's Michael Caine. You know, I wish I had that Bruce Campbell car. I didn't start collecting them in time to get him. Maybe they'll put out another one sometime. And I do have one vehicle from Planes, which is the main plane, Dusty. And of course, after I got most of those, they finally released a large die-cast Lightning McQueen with this movie, even though it's original Lightning McQueen. And I did pick that up, so I showed that before in a previous video. But yeah, I'm gonna open these suckers up and put them on my DVD shelf. Just set them up on top of the DVDs, and I guess that's about it for now, guys. I think I'm gonna try to man up and go out there and get my chocolate milk from the black-eyed kids that are guarding my car. If you get a chance, if you like Cars 2, if you like Pixar and stuff, go see it. It's good. It's a good movie. It's fun. It's funny. It's cute. It's funny. It's touching. It's a good Pixar movie. It's not like, I mean, it's a Cars movie, but it's up there with the first one. The first one was never spectacular, but it's like being on the low end of Pixar was always still being better than most non-Pixar animated films as far as like computer animated. And this is still in there with that, because this is up there with the first Cars. The second Cars, and this, you know, actually the second Cars is much better than I originally thought. I mean, just gave it another watch and enjoyed it. Just enjoyed it for what it was. It was just a silly movie, but an entertaining one. It was entertaining, and it's beautifully made and all that. This hair is driving me nuts. If you didn't know, I've never had long hair before, but I'm growing it out for a cosplay I'm hoping to do. I'm also supposed to like lose a ton of weight, but sometimes I want chocolate milk, but I haven't lost much weight yet. I gotta put a rush on that now, because the hair's growing. That was part one. Now I gotta lose weight and get a couple more items for my cosplay. But after like a year, I'll probably cut this hair off. I don't know. I'm used to having short hair. I don't know. Maybe I'll get to like it. I'm gonna tie it up in a minute. Okay, later.